Welcome back. Ayushi hasn't joined, right? Right. So let's continue because there could be a paucity of time. This is the last session of the day, and yeah, we were discussing about the confusion in the conflicting loop. That is the reason of continuation of this loop in repeats. So because it creates a morphing impression in the mind, it creates a morphing impression in the mind as if it is a natural thing. और ये हम नॉर्मल जो कुक्ड फूड होता है उससे बहुत क्लियरली समझ पाएंगे, क्योंकि कुक्ड फूड का क्या है, कुक्ड फूड है तो एक फॉर्म, एक फिजिकल फॉर्म ही है, तो हमें ये एहसास होता है कि ये फिजिकल फॉर्म है, और फिजिकल फॉर्म ही तो हम खाते हैं, खाने के लिए तो हमें, ये तो कोई कल्पना तो नहीं खा रहे हैं, बट उस फिजिकल फॉर्म का जो मेन चीज है जो हम ग्रहण करते हैं वो है टेस्ट। वो टेस्ट कल्पना के द्वारा आता है, तो उस वजह से हम कतई ये समझ नहीं पाते हैं कि ये हमारा नशा हो जा रहा है और हम एडिक्टेड हो रहे हैं सिर्फ ये सोच के जे ये सच फूड है, क्योंकि इसका एक फॉर्म है, एक फिजिकल फॉर्म है। बिनल जो मेंशन कर रही थी, बिनल वाज मेंशनिंग अबाउट दैट देयर आर P3 which appears as P1, so in the construction of that P1 there was P3 before, so it is actually a masked P3 that is coming as a P1. So Ayushi was asking about an example. Suppose any outcome of any action, let's take this workshop. This workshop is planned, and now a perception, a fixated perception is there in the mind that it will be a great interaction with the people during the workshop. So with that strong belief, we started the workshop. With strong belief, which is actually fixated, which got fixated, that it must be a great conversation. It must be a great conversation. But in the past also this has happened many times in this workshop. There were in this particular today there was no such kind of emotional conversation, but there were many episodes. Those who are old participants, they can vouch for that. Like there were crying episodes. Suddenly one person started crying out of guilt or out of anger whatsoever, and the complete environment is somewhat affected, as if it is affected. So you understand? Are you able to correlate, Ayushi?
Yes.
जो फिक्सेटेड करके रखे थे उसके वजह से फ्रस्ट्रेशन आएगा। अगर ओपननेस के साथ ये शुरुआत किया जाए, ये चलो देखते हैं कॉन्वर्सेशन में क्या निकल के आता है, तो फिर वो ये लूप नहीं बनाएगा, क्योंकि स्टैग्नेटेड परसेप्शन नहीं है। सो P3 स्टैग्नेटेड हो गया था, एक गोल बना लिए थे, उसके वजह से पहले ही अंदर बहुत उबाल आना स्टार्ट हो गया। कुछ हुआ नहीं, बाहर में कुछ हुआ नहीं, बट अंदर चल रहा उबाल, अंदर ये चल रहा है, ये लूप स्टार्ट हो गया। ये वाला लूप अंदर चल रहा है, 1 and 2 का, 1 and 2 का। समझ रहे? हाँ, क्या बोल रहे?
P2 लूप।
हाँ, P3 P2 स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम P3 P2 लूप स्टार्ट हो गया। फिर इस दशा में हमने वर्कशॉप स्टार्ट किया। अभी तक कुछ हुआ ही नहीं है, मैंने जस्ट ठान लिया जी ये बहुत अच्छा होने वाला है, बहुत अच्छा, यानी कि कोई झगड़ा नहीं होगा या इस तरह का कुछ एक सोच जो फिक्स हो गया है, कुछ भी किसी भी तरीके का। तो इसी अवस्था में शुरू किया गया। नाउ द एक्शन इज टेकन, Number 3, action is taken and by chance there is something which was not aligned to the expected goal, तो फिर वो वापस आएगा उस एक्शन का फेलियर के वजह से, सेंसेशन होके आएगा, जे प्रॉपरली लॉन्च ही नहीं। मान लो कुछ और अनफोर्सिन हो जाता है, पावर आउटेज हो जाता है, इंटरनेट आउटेज हो जाता है, सेशन ही नहीं हुआ, है ना, तो मन खराब, ये वाला मन खराब हुआ, हम जस्टिफाई करेंगे जे मन तो खराब होना ही है क्योंकि सेशन हुआ नहीं, बट वो तो हो ही सकता है ना। मन खराब का मतलब क्या है, समझ रहे हैं? इरेशनलिटी समझ रहे हैं ना, फैक्ट को नॉन फैक्ट बनाने का जो टेंडेंसी बन गया, उसको समझ पा रहे हैं क्या? एक्चुअली ये आउटेज हुआ है और मुझे कष्ट हो रहा है क्योंकि मैं ठान के बैठा था जो आउटेज नहीं होने वाला है, इंटरनेट आउटेज होना ही नहीं है, ऐसा एक ठान के मैं चल रहा था। तो जब हुआ है तब तो हुआ ना, तो मैं इनकार क्यों कर रहा हूं उससे? हाँ, सेशन नहीं हुआ, विच वॉज फाइन, इफ देयर वॉज नो, वो सेशन नहीं हुआ वो मुझे दुखी करेगा, क्यों? क्योंकि मैंने ठान के बैठा था जो सेशन करना ही है और इस तरीके से करना है। कोई सा भी गोल हो सकता है, सेशन करना ही है, ये भी एक गोल है। आप समझ पा रहे हैं? तो कहा जा सकता है कि नहीं, आपने तो एक महीना पहले इस वर्कशॉप को शेड्यूल करके रखे थे, तो वो प्लानिंग ही है। तो प्लानिंग है, ये बड़ी बात नहीं है, प्लानिंग किस तरह से है वो बड़ी बात है। प्लानिंग अगर अंदरूनी बिलीफ से है जो मुझे करना ही है, आई शुड गेट ड्रॉप्ड आउट। तो इफ दिस हैपेंस दैट वे, that I am fixated with the outcome, expected outcome, then there is no openness, there is a confinement. ये जो है ना, ये जेल है, ये वाला है बड़ा जेल, जो दिखता नहीं है बट हमें जेल में रख दे जाता है, कैदी बना के रखता है। सो बिकम प्रिजनर ऑफ इट।
झेलना पड़ता है।
झेलना भी पड़ता है। सो गोइंग फॉरवर्ड,
Sir, I am relating it with emotional eating.
yes, 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 you'll be able to relate with a lot of experiences, because bits and pieces of these kind of obsessive experience is filled in life, conventional life. Now beauty kya hai? If we can look at it, then it dissolves, because we are in denial. We are considering this is natural, because it has become normal. We started with the statistical truth, you remember, Ram was not there.
No problem.
This one, sorry, this one, there are something called truth. Oh, my screen sharing stopped. Okay. Yeah. So there is something truth about something being natural or unnatural. Natural is something which emerges on its own. There is no condition applied. Anything happens with a condition, that's unnatural. Now there is something called statistic, which is actually accumulation of opinions. Because many people are doing, then we start terming that as normal, even if it is an unnatural act. Cooked food eating. Cooked food eating is termed as normal. So we somehow equate normal with natural in the mind, and we continue with that. और स्टैटिस्टिकली जो लो होता है उसको एबनॉर्मल बोला जाता है. तो स्टार्ट कॉलिंग दैट एज एन abnormal even if it is natural, and we start calling the normal thing as good even if it is unnatural, and abnormal thing bad even if it is natural. So the story continues.
What about how you categorize pain, pleasure, or right, wrong?
Yeah, so that's what we are trying to explore. Pain, pleasure is experiences, but experience is not the end of it. Pain, pleasure are actually experiences. Now, experience is not end of it. The impact of experience on the energy makes all the difference. This we need to. So now what we saw in both the orders, natural order and conflicting order, sensation, the P2. P2 can be sourced from P1 or P3. If it is sourced from P3, then it is a huge load on the energy. But it is happening in the P2 in both the cases. You know, the experience, the pain and pleasure. The cooked food is also tasty, we term, but we don't look at the source. The source is mind. The source of cooked food is the mind. And we don't look at it because we consider that this is a physical thing. This looks like P1.
That comes from that taste and then the sensory thing, and then goes to P3 as it is good.
Yes,
So
sensation. The sensation is believed without looking at the source of it. You know, without looking at, and even the question may also come that if the source is P1, should we believe? It's not actually. If it is just fruits and we end up believing in it, that means we are looking at the fruits as a prescription. Instead of that, if we are looking at fruit every time that other than fruits anything is there which can be eaten and unmodified, so we are inquisitive. End of the day, both the person are eating fruits, A and B. A is considering this as a prescription, just following blindly, and B is inquisitive about it. So for A, the energy is not being
every
conserved.
every time someone is in, like checking that, inquisitive about it is what the probably natural thing.
Inquisition. Yes. This happens naturally. It happens. Like even if you are having hundreds of mangoes, 101st mango, you are inquisitive about it. You will not eat any rotten mango. You cannot conclude because the 100 mangoes were tasty, the 101st mango is also going to be tasty. You are inquisitive about it. You are trying to inquire about it. That's what is a natural occurrence. Yes.
And you're also inquiring on your sensation of it.
Yes.
What the sensation that you feel inside, so that, I mean, if the 3-5 mangoes are tasting good, but what I feel inside, I'm open to it. That also probably, if I'm not inquiring, I may end up over consuming.
And that overconsumption happens because of the stimulation, some sort of stimulation. That could be perceptory stimulation of natural fruits also. Perceptory stimulation, that I must have 12 bananas. So if I'm satiated with 6 bananas, next 6 is going to be the toll, which is stimulated with the perception that I have been prescribed to eat 12 bananas.
Which is what probably can happen if one is not feeling well and still having fruits.
Yes. So one is not looking at the body anymore, looking out for the prescription.
Yes.
So looking at the body is the physical aspect. Looking at the body is the physical aspect. So now the categories of execution. So 3 executions we talked about: action, sensation, and perception. So primary action, which is a natural action, which is stemmed from perception. And then secondary action is the action which is stemmed from the sensation. So primary action is effortless, secondary action is effortful. Same goes for the primary sensation. Primary sensation, which comes from the action directly. Secondary sensation, it comes from the perception. Primary sensation is effortless because it has an end. Secondary sensation is effortful because it doesn't have an end. It goes on and on. Primary perception, which comes from sensation, and that sensation is sourced from action. So that is the primary perception, and which is equivalent to the awareness. Secondary perception, which comes from the action directly. Action directly in form of justification or an excuse. That is what is the secondary perception. Right? So we have already discussed this. Now, impacts of conflicts. All the secondary executions, secondary action, secondary sensation, secondary perception has some impact. What kind of impact it is? So it is, everything is effortful now. There's much effort in the action. Overloaded sensation. Because of that repeating loop of P3, P2, the body is overloaded with sensation. Always I'm actually, my heartbeat is, heart is beating faster. I'm excited. I'm scared. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm depressed. And that gives me irrational perception. Irrational perception is the perception where we try to establish a non-fact as a fact. We try to convince ourselves as illusion as a fact, an illusion as a fact. That is what is the irrational perception. We becomes adamant to prove or disprove something. That is irrational perception. So all these are putting extra load on the energy. If we add up all these 3 things, then it leads to the depletion of energy, which is termed in pure nature cure enervation. Depletion of energy. Energy is depleted now. Now, whenever the energy is depleted, it ends up reducing the elimination from the body. So the primary reason of depletion of energy is creation and image in the mind. Whatsoever. It may come in form of cooked food, or it may come from a stimulated goal of life. So innervation leads the organism to reduce the elimination because the energy quota is limited. Energy is limited. So with that limited energy, something which was designed to happen is not happening because something extra has happened. So energy is exhausted. So the output is compromised because that is the last thing body is going to do. Input is not stopped. Processing has to happen. So output is compromised. So when output is compromised, the body starts retaining toxin. And that retainment of toxin is toxemia. Toxemia, and that is the single cause of all the disease. Accumulated toxin within the body. Now, naturally, the toxemia is balanced with healing crisis, which is the spatial elimination process in form of fever, acute diseases, fever, flu, pain. This happens. Detoxification, spatial detoxification. Otherwise, detoxification is a 24/7 thing that is happening. But due to the extra toxin, body actually compels the body to rest. with the tiredness, tastelessness, the body gets into a resting mode so that that rested energy can be used to detox the body. That's a natural, beautiful phenomena to sustain this existence. Now, during the healing crisis, the body temperature goes up in a prominent stage. Now, that's very evidential. You know, when there is a lesser crowd, the heat will be less. You know, there is a lesser crowd in the room, then the heat is less. If there is huge crowd, heat will be more. If there is further huge crowd, so just think about the toxicity within the body. If there is a limited toxin in the body, then the heat will be normal, 37 degrees centigrade. Now, more toxin, see the physics of it. More toxin, the crowd is more, and that leads to the heat up of the body. And that heat up of the body will reduce the density of the toxin, which will facilitate the detoxification. The density of the toxin is reduced, and that facilitates the detoxification. So body is self-completed to protect its own interest. That is what is the healing capability.
In a physical setting, the way this picture shows, how does that happen with the heat rising?
Yeah, because of the room, you know, that's in the room, many people are breathing and doing their injections.
And what does the heat do? You said bring the density down.
Yes, it's a physics. With the heat, the density gets reduced, isn't it?
In a physical this setting, what happens?
Ice, if you put fire, then it becomes water, the density is reduced. Or take water is a little complicated to take an example as far as the density is concerned, but take any other metal, any solid metal, if you put heat.
But in a no, I got that, but when there are lots of people in a room, I'm just trying to understand. When there are lots of people in the room and there is a lot of heat, and then
the circulation is stopped, no? The closed room, it is a closed room, and a lot of people are just coming in. So slowly and gradually there will be a crowd, and there will be heat generated because of the friction.
And what does that heat do?
That heat will again disperse the crowd, because with the heat that happens, you know.
Oh, okay. Yes.
People will be irritated with that, physically irritated. It's not a mental irritation, that they will be suffocated and they will go out.
Yeah, they will be suffocated.
That's how the density gets reduced again.
Yes. And in the body, within the body, the density gets reduced and the detoxification is facilitated.
Yeah, it could be a simple example where, like, you know, in the cold time, the coconut oil is, you know, thick, and when the sun comes out, it becomes
it becomes liquid. Yes. Yeah, Viva, you want to say something, Viva? We are not able to hear if you are saying something. You want to say something, Viva ma'am? I'm not able to hear.
Now am I audible?
Yes, you are now.
Okay, I was connected to a speaker. I was just saying that in a room, it may be also the body, not so relevant, but body heat, I mean, of lots of people. But with toxins, it could just be friction, and I don't know.
Yes. So the friction is not that the body rubs with the body, but also your existence and the other's existence will create some friction in the air capacity of the room and all those things, kind of, you know.
But they also heat emanating from bodies, right?
That is also generating heat within the room. And moreover, it's very experiential, isn't it? A crowded room is always heated up. right? Physics will
Yeah.
come as an explanation later on, but experientially it is a fact that we can observe. Yes, Prajakta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ram, you want to say something?
Yeah.
हाँ
So
सर एक्चुअली
go ahead. Go.
Yeah, Prajakta, please go ahead.
ये नहीं सर मेरा ये मॉर्निंग के एग्जाम्पल से कनेक्टेड है, तो राम सर को कंप्लीट कर दीजिए पहले।
कोई बात नहीं,
हेलो,
आप बोलिए।
ओके ओके। तो मॉर्निंग में हाँ मॉर्निंग में मायावी जी ने एग्जाम्पल दिया था एक, मतलब वो ग्रीन कलर को एक लेडी को ग्रीन कलर से फियर था एक लेडी को। तो हम लोगों ने तभी ये किया था कि इमोशनल डिस्कम्फर्ट है, इट कैन बी वैनिश इन अ मोमेंट। इमोशनल डिस्कम्फर्ट मतलब फियर इज अ इमोशनल डिस्कम्फर्ट, वी कैन राइट इट लाइक दैट। तो अभी ये डिटॉक्स इज फिजिकल डिस्कम्फर्ट, राइट?
Yes.
सॉरी ये टॉक्सिफिकेशन इज फिजिकल डिस्कम्फर्ट। या टॉक्सेमिया इज, सो कैन इट बी वैनिश इन अ मोमेंट, या मतलब उसको टाइम ही जाना पड़ेगा?
उसको तो टाइम मिलेगा, उसको टाइम चाहिए, बट that the facilitation will be started immediately the moment the awareness come, you know.
ओके, तो उसका टाइम पीरियड मतलब ये टॉक्सिन जाने का टाइम पीरियड इंडिविजुअल के अवेयरनेस पे डिपेंड करेगा?
यस। जैसे मान लीजिए मैं फिजिकली बता रहा हूँ, ये क्रेविंग जो हम एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं इन द प्रोसेस, कुक्ड फूड के प्रति क्रेविंग, दैट्स अ वेरी फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट बिकॉज आर सेल्स आर कंडीशनड, physically conditioned also. A cell made out of roti will ask for roti. तो ये फिजिकली एक टेंडेंसी बन गया है इसका, बट अब साइकोलॉजिकली अगर चिपचिपाहट चला गया है, द स्टिकीनेस हैज गॉन सपोज, देन gradually it will drop. Action wise it may not be reflecting because of lot of constraints, because we don't know the whole how it is operating. But if you are in an inquiring stage, then you are psychologically detached. You may end up, how you will identify it is a detachment, that if you are not planning for cooked food, you may end up having a cooked food, but not with a plan, or plan in either way, that I'll be so rigid and I'll not have, so that's a not enforced control, and that there is no enforced plan also, जो खाना है उस दिन को खाना है, मुझे 10 दिन फल पे रहेंगे, 11वां दिन खाएंगे, ये प्लानिंग भी नहीं है। बाय चांस कभी कभार आपको खाना पड़ गया या खा लिए, वो कोई बोझ नहीं ला रहा आपके दिमाग में, तो फिर स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली क्या करेंगे आप, लॉन्गिट्यूडनली देखोगे आप और खा ही नहीं रहे। इस डिटैचमेंट को समझना है, जो मैं खा रही हूं बट गिल्ट लेके आ रही हूं, या लोभ में ही भुगत रही हूं, मुझे प्लान करना पड़ रहा है 1 महीने बाद तो खाऊंगा, 30 दिन हो गए 31 दिन में खाऊंगा, समझ रहे हैं? ये है अटैचमेंट। दीज आर द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ अटैचमेंट। यस राम।
Yeah. Yes, you're able to hear me now?
Yes.
So the healing crisis is something is something is a must happen, as a, in the natural way it is like to remove toxemia whatsoever, like it is should happen, or
it depends upon the body and the toxicity, which we don't know, we cannot conclude it from outside. However, it happens, it happens by the body. If body can do it through the normal elimination, then it's okay. Otherwise, the body will initiate a special detoxification.
Okay, for example, somebody moved from cooked food to this natural way of whatever by instant. Then probably in the statistical way also, whatever the medical way also, it's showing a particular disease, whatever they call it, is gone. More than that, the person feels that, for example, maybe a stomach pain. I don't have a stomach pain, I feel light, whatever. The feeling domain also, they are feeling good. But there's nothing like a healing crisis and all happen to that person, right? So that is still a natural scenario, right?
Yeah, that could be. Yes, that could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that change, whatever the change one has brought in, the disposition of change is very important. If that disposition, disposition of change is a special thing in life. You know, eating fruits is a special change, is being considered as a special change psychologically by that individual, suppose. That I am sacrificing a lot. I have to do it for my cure. This is
no, that person is probably, I don't know, I'm not generalizing, but this person is more of, not
understanding the
not,
truth.
like,
Understanding the truth.
yeah.
So even if he is not diseased, he is okay to go ahead with the fruits.
Yeah, sometimes the person is, like, not worried about taking a cooked food also, no guilty. At the same time, I'm eating cooked, non-cooked because of this. The person don't feel that way.
Yeah. So that can be just observed by the individual. Nobody outsider can see it. He could be
but in this case, the healing crisis not happened till now, but it's still, but the person feels good, or probably the statistical report also
that could be a shifting of symptom also. The interim feeling good could be a shifting of symptom. It's not a cure yet.
Okay.
In most of the cases, the healing crisis is very much obvious. In case of a chronic condition, which is continuing for a long period, that's very hardened toxin that needs some time to get detoxed. So now, how the heat is handled, that's very important for the further progression of the disease. It starts with the enervation, then graduated into the toxemia. You see, there is a conversion from the formless to the form. Energy element is a formless, but the toxemia is a form. It's a physical form. So it gets converted into a physical disease here. So that is why toxemia is considered as the start of the disease in many fraternity, because of its physical form. Now, this toxemia is countered by the body with the healing crisis, which is the special detoxification. But if the detoxification is suppressed, because during the detoxification, there will be discomfort. The experience of toxin is discomforting. So during the detoxification process, there will be pain, there will be tiredness, there will be tastelessness. All these are pain, which are byproduct. That's not the goal of the body to create pain, because body is the best friend of the body. It will never create such a discomfort unless it is very much important and coming as a byproduct. So the primary thing is the detoxification. That discomfort comes as a byproduct in the process. Now, because of that discomfort, if we suppress it, then we are instructing the body to keep the toxin inside. Don't throw it out, keep the toxin inside. And that chronifies the condition. That's how the conversion of an acute disease into chronic happens. So we'll go through the stages of disease tomorrow in the morning hour and continue. Today, I think we have overshoot the time also. And yeah. So let me stop the sharing of screen. And I think couple of minutes, even not a couple of minutes. 1 minute, few seconds are left. If quickly you want to share something, or in the WhatsApp group, we can continue the conversation. Right? Sure. Right? Then so let it end on its own. Few seconds are left. Those who are not on video may come on the video also. Nisha ji, Nisha ma'am, आप हो?
Sir,
हाँ जी
हाँ जी,
sorry.
हाँ जी कल्याण सर
हाँ जी, मैं हिंदी में ज्यादा कंटिन्यू नहीं कर पाया,
कोई बात नहीं,
पर
कोई बात
हाँ,
नहीं।
रिकॉर्डिंग
सब
होगा।
ऊपर से
और
गया मुझे तो,
ऐसा
सब
ऐसा मत
ऊपर से
बोलिए।
गया, बहुत टाइम लगी।
नहीं नहीं, आप हो तो ऊपर से पूरा नहीं गया।
थोड़ा थोड़ा सुना मैंने।
हाँ जी, हाँ
ओहो,
जी, हाँ जी।
ओके
निशा
ओके,
जी
नो प्रॉब्लम सर।
निशा जी जरूरी ये है ना, आपने सुना, जितना भी सुना उतना बहुत अच्छा है, बाकी जिन लोगों ने नहीं सुना उन्हें तो कुछ भी नहीं आया ना।